You're probably still using ChatGPT or Claude thinking they're the only top-tier AI models out there. And honestly, I thought the same thing until I spent the last few weeks diving deep into Grok 4.1. Here's what surprised me. This AI just dethroned every major model on the LM Arena leaderboard, scoring 1483 ELO and claiming the #1 spot. Yeah, you heard that right, #1. Welcome back to bitbiased.ai, where we do the research so you don't have to. Join our community of AI enthusiasts with our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the description below to subscribe. You will get the key AI news, tools, and learning resources to stay ahead. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything new in Grok 4.1, show you exactly how it stacks up against ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, and walk you through the practical ways you can start using it today. Whether you're a developer, content creator, or just someone who wants more from their AI, by the end of this video, you'll know if Grok 4.1 is worth your time and money. Let's start with what makes version 4.1 such a massive leap forward from its predecessor, the Grok 4.1 revolution. When xAI launched Grok 4.1 in November 2025, they didn't just push out an incremental update. This is a complete transformation of what Grok can do. And before you ask, yes, I've tested it extensively against the competition. Here's the thing about Grok 4.0, it was good. But it had that typical AI problem where you'd get these confident answers that were just wrong. You know what I'm talking about. You'd ask something specific, and the AI would give you this elaborate response that sounded great, but was actually making stuff up. We call these hallucinations, and they're the bane of anyone trying to use AI for actual work. Grok 4.1 changes the game. In blind A/B tests where users didn't know which version they were talking to, 64.8% preferred Grok 4.1's responses over 4.0. That's not a small margin. That's a landslide. But what's really happening under the hood? The architecture is the same, but xAI fine-tuned this thing for emotional intelligence, consistency, and most importantly, factual accuracy. And the benchmarks back this up. Grok 4.1 in thinking mode doesn't just compete, it dominates with that 1483 ELO score on LM Arena's text leaderboard. For context, Grok 4.0 was sitting down at rank 33. That's a rocket ship trajectory in just one update. What actually changed? The features that matter. Let me walk you through the upgrades that actually make a difference in your day-to-day use. And trust me, some of these are game changers. First up, emotional intelligence. I know it sounds fluffy, but hear me out. Grok 4.1 topped the EQ Bench emotional intelligence test, and you can actually feel it when you use the thing. I ran a test where I wrote, "I miss my cat so much" to both versions. Grok 4.0 gave me a generic, almost robotic response. Grok 4.1, it understood the emotional weight, adapted its tone, even used heart emojis naturally in its reply. It felt like talking to someone who actually gets it. This isn't just about warm, fuzzy feelings. It's about the AI understanding context and nuance in conversations. Whether you're using it for customer service, content creation, or just getting help with something personal, that emotional awareness makes every interaction smoother and more natural. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember those hallucinations I mentioned? Grok 4.0 had a factual error rate of about 12%. Grok 4.1 slashed that down to 4%. That's a 65% reduction in the AI confidently telling you wrong information. And when Grok 4.1 isn't sure about something, it actually admits it instead of making stuff up. The fast mode, which is the non-reasoning version, cuts the hallucination rate in half compared to Grok 4.0 fast. So even when you're using the quick response mode, you're getting significantly more reliable information. This matters tremendously if you're using AI for research, fact-checking, or any situation where accuracy isn't optional. Now, creative writing. On creative benchmarks, Grok 4.1 jumped roughly 600 points on the creative writing V3 test. But numbers are one thing. What does this actually mean? The personality is consistent now. Where Grok 4.0 might wander off into weird tangents or lose its tone halfway through, Grok 4.1 maintains that witty, conversational voice throughout. Ask it to write a story, craft social media posts, or generate marketing copy, and it keeps that coherent style from start to finish. Wait until you hear this next part. It's honestly mind-blowing. Grok 4.1 fast supports a context window of up to 2 million tokens. Let me put that in perspective. That's enough to hold entire code bases, multiple lengthy documents, or conversations that go on for hours without losing track of what was said at the beginning. In practice, it treats the first 128,000 tokens as hot memory, meaning it actively reasons with that information and uses the rest as long-term storage. This is far beyond what most LLMs can handle. You can have genuinely long, complex conversations without the AI forgetting crucial context from earlier in the discussion. The two modes, speed versus depth. Here's something that sets Grok apart. You get to choose between two distinct modes depending on what you need. Grok 4.1, Thinking Mode, internally called Quasar Flux, uses additional reasoning tokens for complex, multi-step problems. It takes longer, but thinks deeper. Meanwhile, Grok 4.1 Fast Mode, running on the Tensor engine, gives you instant responses. Think of it like this. Fast mode is for quick questions, brainstorming, or when you need rapid-fire responses. Thinking mode is for complex analysis, debugging code, working through multi-layered problems, or anything requiring serious logical chains. Having both options means you're not stuck with one-size-fits-all performance. And if you're using the API, you can access these as Grok 4.1 Fast Reasoning and Grok 4.1 Fast Non-Reasoning. The flexibility here is exactly what power users have been asking for. Real-time data, the X advantage. One feature that often gets overlooked, but shouldn't. Grok has built-in web search that activates automatically when needed. Its training data cuts off at November 2024, but it actively browses the web and X, formerly Twitter, for current information. Unlike ChatGPT, where you need to manually enable browser tools or use plugins, Grok's searches happen seamlessly in the background. You ask a question about current events, and it just handles it. Grok 4.1 was specifically optimized to use external tools, Xsearch, web search, code execution, as part of its natural workflow. This means when you're asking about breaking news, trending topics, or anything happening right now, Grok can fetch and cite fresh data during your conversation. No extra steps required. The heavyweight fight, Grok versus the big three. All right, let's talk about how Grok 4.1 actually compares to ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. Because honestly, this is what everyone really wants to know. On Marina's leaderboard, which aggregates thousands of pairwise language comparisons from real users, Grok 4.1 Thinking Mode currently sits at 1477 ELO. That beats GPT 5.1 at 1458 ELO and Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.5 at 1470 ELO. For the first time, we have an AI model from outside the traditional big three sitting at the top of the rankings. But beyond the numbers, let's talk real-world performance. For coding tasks, Grok 4.1 holds its own against Claude Sonnet and ChatGPT. I've used all three for debugging Python, writing JavaScript, and building data pipelines. Grok's code quality is solid, the explanations are clear, and it handles context well across long coding sessions thanks to that massive context window. For creative work, writing blog posts, marketing copy, video scripts like this one, Grok brings something different to the table. It's got personality. Where GPT tends toward neutral and academic, and Claude leans helpful and precise, Grok feels more conversational and witty. It references pop culture naturally, isn't afraid to crack jokes, and generally feels less corporate. That personality comes with trade-offs, though. If you need strictly formal academic writing, GPT or Claude might be safer bets. But for content that needs to connect with people, have personality, and feel human, Grok's emotional intelligence gives it an edge. Gemini has vision and multimodal capabilities that are incredibly strong. If you're working heavily with images, analyzing visual data, or need that tight Google integration, Gemini has advantages Grok doesn't match yet. But for pure text-based tasks, Grok 4.1 is competitive or better. Here's what really stands out. Grok is the only major model with native automatic X integration. It pulls from social media trends, cites tweets when relevant, and understands the current conversation happening online in a way the others don't. If you're in marketing, journalism, or any field where understanding the zeitgeist matters, that's powerful. How to actually use Grok 4.1. Let me show you the practical side. How to access this thing and what you can actually do with it. You've got several access points. The simplest is through the Grok website at grok.com or directly through X. If you're already an X Premium Plus subscriber, you get full access to Grok 4.1 features right there. For casual users, there's a limited free tier to test it out, but for serious use, you'll want one of the paid plans. If you need programmatic access, building apps, automating workflows, integrating into your systems, the API is available. The model identifiers are straightforward. Use Grok 4.1 Fast Reasoning for the thinking mode, or Grok 4.1 Fast Non-Reasoning for fast mode. The API documentation walks through authentication, but it's similar to other AI APIs if you've worked with them before. For developers building custom tools, Grok supports Model Context Protocol, MCP servers. You can connect external data sources, integrate with databases, pull from APIs, basically extending what Grok can access beyond its training data. I've seen people build custom research assistants, connect it to company knowledge bases, even create specialized coding environments. What can you actually build with this? Content creation workflows, where Grok handles everything from ideation to drafting to editing. Customer service bots with genuine emotional intelligence that don't sound like robots. Research assistants that pull from current sources and compile information coherently. Coding partners that understand your entire code base and help debug across thousands of lines. The 2 million token context window means you can feed it entire documentation sets, long conversation histories, or massive data sets, and it won't lose the thread. That opens possibilities that just weren't practical with smaller context windows. What the benchmarks don't tell you. All right, we need to talk about some real-world considerations and common misconceptions. Because benchmarks are great, but they don't capture everything. First, cost. Grok 4.1 API pricing is competitive, but not free. For the fast mode, you're looking at about $5 per $1 million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. Thinking mode costs more, around $10 input and $30 output per million tokens. For comparison, GPT 5.1 runs slightly cheaper, and Claude Opus 4.5 is in a similar range. If you're doing high-volume production work, those costs add up, budget accordingly. For lighter use or personal projects, the pricing is reasonable. But if you're processing millions of tokens daily, you need to do the math. Speed is another factor. Fast mode lives up to its name. Responses come back in 1 to 2 seconds typically. Thinking mode is slower, sometimes taking 5 to 10 seconds or more for complex queries, because it's actually doing deeper reasoning. That's the trade-off you accept for better quality on difficult problems. Now for some myth-busting. I keep seeing people claim Grok only uses X content, or it's completely unfiltered. Neither is true. Grok draws from X sometimes. It may cite tweets when relevant. But it also uses general web search and isn't restricted to X's data. It has a web browser tool and can pull from any public site. As for being unfiltered, Grok has a more relaxed conversational personality and will engage with edgier topics than some competitors. But it still has safety systems and moderation. It's not a free-for-all. The idea that it's some completely uncensored AI is just not accurate. Another common misconception: Grok is free and unlimited. There is a limited free tier for casual use, but heavy usage requires a subscription. X Premium Plus unlocks full features on the platform, or you need SuperGrok on the Grok website for unlimited access. The details change, so check XAI's current documentation for exact plans and pricing. Here's the most important reality check. Grok 4.1 is powerful, but it's not magic. It can't access private data. It can't guarantee perfect results every time. It may struggle with extremely long logical chains beyond even its large context window, or with super niche technical domains not well represented in training. Some users overestimate what any AI can do. Use Grok as a tool. A really good tool, but still a tool, with human judgment and oversight. Verify important information. Review the code it writes. Edit the content it generates. Don't just blindly trust any AI output, no matter how confident it sounds. The bottom line. So after weeks of testing, comparing, and pushing this thing to its limits, here's my honest take. Grok 4.1 is a legitimate competitor to the top-tier models. The emotional intelligence, reduced hallucinations, and creative output improvements are real and noticeable. That #1 ranking on LM Arena isn't a fluke. Users genuinely prefer it in blind tests. The dual mode system, fast versus thinking, gives you flexibility that others don't match. The native X integration and automatic web search create workflows that feel more seamless than competitors. And that enormous context window opens doors for applications that weren't practical before. It's not perfect. The personality won't be for everyone. Some will love the wit and conversational style. Others will prefer GPT's neutrality or Claude's helpfulness. The pricing is competitive, but not cheap if you're doing volume. And it's still a statistical model with limitations and quirks. Where Grok 4.1 shines is in use cases that value personality, emotional intelligence, real-time information access, and long context understanding. Content creators, marketers, developers working with large code bases, researchers who need current information, these are the sweet spots. If you're currently using ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini exclusively, Grok 4.1 is worth testing for your specific use case. You might find it handles certain tasks better. And if you're new to AI assistants, Grok is now a serious option that deserves consideration alongside the established names. The real question isn't whether Grok 4.1 is good, the data proves it is. The question is whether its particular strengths align with what you need. Take advantage of the free tier to test it out. Run it through your actual workflows. Compare it side by side with what you're currently using. And here's my prediction. We're going to see rapid improvements from here. XAI moved Grok from rank 33 to rank 1 in a single update. That pace of improvement is aggressive. Whatever limitations exist today probably won't be there in a few months. Wrap up. That's everything you need to know about Grok 4.1. What's new, how it compares, and how to use it. If this breakdown helped you understand whether Grok is worth exploring, hit that like button and subscribe because I'm continuing to test and compare all these AI models as they evolve. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you tried Grok 4.1 yet? How does it compare to your current AI of choice? I'm genuinely curious about your experiences. And if you want to dive even deeper into AI tools and practical applications, check out the video I'll link in the description next. It covers advanced prompting techniques that work across all major AI models. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.